Salutations, readers. Welcome back to the City Girl Writer channel. My name is Nkechi, and for today we're going to talk about 40 anticipated releases of 2024. Now, there are a lot. These are a lot of books to go through. So, if you're expecting me to talk about the synopses, I ain't going to do that. We got too many books to go through for that. So, y'all will have to look up on Goodreads or Storygraph on the actual synopses. I'm just going to go by what I barely remember, because this is a lot of books. And I know it's a little bit early to talk about anticipated releases for the new year, but I already have 40. In fact, I literally just saw like a 40th book to add to this list. So, yeah. So this list can easily, and I mean easily, grow. But these are just the 40 books that I'm like, okay, I'm generally quite interested. I'm looking forward to reading these. I'm pretty excited. Some of them are sequels, some of them are first in series, some of them are just like books that I have never heard of from any of these authors, but I want to give them a shot, and I like the covers. So, yes. But I also do want to talk about it as well is that one of these books is under St. Martin's Press. Now, if you've been in the book community, if you've been hearing around, if not, I'll let y'all know that there is a boycott for St. Martin's Press, because there is a employee that they still have not fired that has said some racist vitriol against Muslims and Palestinian people, especially trying to be neutral or both sides are being pro-Israel. I will link an Instagram down below on the exact details of what this employee has done, but St. Martin's Press has done nothing to, no action against this employee, no firing, no nothing, no any ways of condemning what this employee has said and done. And it's been shown that there are several Arab, Muslim, brown readers and reviewers who have requested ARCs, because this is someone who does work on advanced reading copies of books, especially specifically under Wednesday books, that when they request, they don't get, but their white counterparts they do get. So yeah, we that's just not good. So I will link that TikTok down below for more context. So I just want to say that because the very first book that I'll be talking about is under Wednesday Books title, and it's under St. Martin's Press. So yes, I do highly encourage anyone to participate in this boycott, because it's just unacceptable. Now, we cannot let that slide. So as of October 21st, they haven't done anything, and it's November 9th as I'm recording this. They haven't done anything. So yeah, so until St. Martin's Press fires his employee and does take actionable steps towards not having this kind of behavior ever tolerated in their workplace, then, well, we're just going to be boycotting for a good long minute. But anyways, now let's just get on to the 40 books that I'll be talking about. And I'm going to be pretty brief on each one, so look at the description for timestamps. So I'm going to go by months, and I'm also going to have a list of all the books that I talk about on here as well. So first up, for January, we have two titles. We have A Fragile Enchantment by Alison Saff. So this is the book that's underneath St. Martin's Press. Not going to talk too much about this one, but it does come out January 2nd, and it's a young adult fantasy romance. That's it. I'm not going to talk much about that. I do have the e-arc for it, but I'm going to hold off my review until the boycott ends. So that's all y'all gonna get. Y'all can search up synopses and all that stuff yourselves. Next up, we have Feybound by Sarah Al-Arifi, January 23rd. This is a adult fantasy. This is from the author of the Ending Fire trilogy. So I did the Enough, the Final Strike, but I am curious about this one. This one is interesting. I don't know. I'm just like, elves and fae, not usually my kind of fantasy creatures I like to read about, but it seemed interesting to me. I really like the cover. The cover is really pretty. So I just want to give it a shot. You never know, You just never know. It could be up your alley. Anyways, next we go to February titles. So we have Infinity Alchemist by Case and Calendar. This comes out February 6th, so this is a young adult fantasy book. Case and Calendar is the author of Felix Ever After. I read that one last year and I loved it, so I'm here to read more about it from this author, especially a fantasy book too. I'm very curious about this one. I know it's young adult, but I think I know it's queer as well, but I also think there's polyamory. I think there's polyamory in here, which I think is I'm always here for that, so yay me. And I do also have the e-arc for this one, so I'm looking forward to reading that. Hopefully I can read it this month or next month. Next, I have What Feasts at Night by T. Kingfisher. This one comes out February 13th. This one I also have the e-arc for. This is the sequel to What Moves the Dead. This is following Alex Easton as well, and we're going, I think, like a inn or something. yeah, it's another horror novella, so I'm here for it. And I do know this is part of Scorn Soldier series, and I think this is a trilogy. I think this is supposed to be 3 books. So, yeah, and I love the cover. The cover is really nice. I really like it. Nice and horror. Love it. Next, also on February 13th, An Education in Malice by Saint Gibson. So this is a dark academia Carmilla retelling. This one has Sapphic. I think there might be Rebels to Lovers, but there's also like a student-teacher dynamic in here as well. So a little bit iffy there, but I trust St. Gibson's writing. I trust what they can do with the writing, because I read A Diary of Blood. It was well written, tremendous care, so I'm here for that. So, yeah, An Education in Malice, and it does look really pretty. I love that cover very much, so looking forward to reading this one. Next, The Imposition of Unnecessary Obstacles by Malcolm Older. This one also comes out February 13th. This is the sequel to The Mimicking of No Successes, so this is part of the Moss and Paletti series. This is a queer sci-fi mystery novella series. I'm just here to see more on the mysteries that Moss and Paletti solve. I did like The Mimicking of No Success. I didn't love it, but I am curious to see about the sequel, and curious to see where I land with it. Next, I have Blessings by Chukwu Ebuka Ibe. This one comes out February 22nd-ish. I don't know if that's quite the right date, but I think that's the date, at least according to Goodreads and Storygraph. So, yeah, this one I know it's a queer lit fit book. It's written by a Nigerian author, and based on the name of this author, it definitely gives me Igbo author, so I'm like, I'm here for it. I'm here, but I know it follows a queer man, and I think we're also following his mother as well, so I think it's dual POV in that sense. I don't know, I like the cover of it. I think it gives me the right vibe on the kind of melancholy about love and loneliness, and I'm like, you know what? I'm always here to read a sad, queer lit fit book written by a Nigerian author. I just am, okay? What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say about this book? It just looks like up my alley as far as literary fiction goes. And I don't really read a lot of literary fiction, but I want to, and this one seems like up my alley. That's Blessings. Next up, we have Lore of the Wilds by Annalise Sabrana. This one comes out February 27th. This one I know is a fantasy romance book, and really what the thing that really came with me to this one is that this one looks cottagecore, Fade-like, but also written by a black author. And it has 3 black people on the cover. I mean, look, y'all, I'm a simple bitch, okay? Sure, I might be hesitant on genre tags, but like, give me black people on the cover and I shall read. It will be on my want to read. It will be on the TBR, okay? I'm going to read it, alright? So, I'm looking forward to this one. And I do know it was self-published originally, and now it's turned to traditionally published, so I'm here for it. It looks short. I don't think this is a first in a series. I think this is a standalone, which would be great. Please let it be a standalone. So, I'm even more excited to read this one. And I really love the cover. I mean, look at the cover! Y'all! I'm here for it. Let's go. Okay? Now, we have a lot of releases for March. Okay? We have like 9, so let's get into it. So, for March 5th, we have A Dark and Drowning Tide by Alison Saft. This is going to be Alison Saft's adult debut. This one features a Stepford romance, and I do think one of the characters is Jewish. It's a fantasy, and I think those are rivals to lovers or something. I don't know. I just really like the cover, and I like Alison Saft's writing, so here we are. Next up, also on March 5th, we have The Truth of the Eleke by Moses Osei Utomi. This is the sequel to The Lies of the Ojongo, which I read in March. It's a fantasy novella series. It's the Forever Desert trilogy. I'm quite certain it's a trilogy. And yeah, it was just continuing the story of the events of the first book. And I really like the cover. It very much fits with the cover of The Lies of the Jungle, and I'm here to continue on reading this series. Next, we have The Dead Cat Tail Assassins by P. Jelly Clark. This one comes out March 12th. This one I also have an e-arc for, and I do notice since a fantasy... I don't know if it's a novella. I think it is a novella, but one of his more longer novellas, something like around Rangshout's length, I think. But I do know... I mean, look at the cover. A black femme with like swords and like just dark. I love it. I just love the cover, and I don't know too much about the actual synopsis, but it just looks like so much up my alley. I'm so excited to read it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta read it. Next, we have Those Beyond the Wall by Micaiah Johnson. This one also comes out March 12th, and this one is, I don't know if it's a direct sequel, but it's in the same world as The Space Between Worlds, which I did DNF. But I do plan to getting back to it, though, like, for sure. And I am looking forward to reading the sequel. I mean, I really like the cover for it. Next, we have Chrysalis and Requiem by Quentin Lee. This one comes out March 16th. This one is going to be self-published. There is no cover for it yet, but there is an announcement that there will be a cover reveal sometime in November. So by the time this video goes up, hopefully the cover is there and I'll just show you all the cover. But as of when I'm recording it, I do not know what the cover looks like. So here's the cover. It's here, but it's not. Sorry. I know this one. All I know is that this is a queer, dark academia, speculative fiction, fantasy book. I think it features autistic characters, just like it did with the debut, Tell Me How It Ends. And I think it's actually set in around the same world as that book. So probably we'll read that one first and then read this one. So we'll see. I don't know. It just looks really, really cool and definitely on my alley. Next, we have The Woods All Black by Lee Mandello. This is coming out March 19th. This one is a queer historical fantasy horror novella set in 1920s. I think we're featuring trans characters or a character or something like that. I don't really know, but I did enjoy Feed Them Silence by this author, and I still have Summer Sons on my TBR, so I'm here to give this one a chance. It's a novella. I'm just gonna give it a chance because why not? Next up, we have Spy Family Volume 11. Coming out March 19th, one of my most anticipated releases because I've been reading Spy Family for a while now, and I am looking forward to continuing on with this series. So, looking forward to Volume 11. I really like the cover for this one, too. This one has Damien's lackeys. That's why I just call them their lackeys because that's pretty much what they are, but also kind of like his friends, too, but definitely closer friends. So, I don't know. I'm just looking forward to whatever happens in Volume 11. So, yeah. Next up, we have Where Sleeping Girls Lie. Now, this is also coming out March 19th, and this is from the author who wrote Ace of Spades, which was one of my favorite books of 2021. So, yeah, this one I know is a young adult mystery thriller book. I think it's also queer, which makes sense. So, yeah, and I love the cover. The cover is really gorgeous, just downright gorgeous. And I know it takes place in a boarding school as well. And then finally for March, we have, which is actually a book that I just found out about it today, The Emperor and the Endless Palace by Justinian Huang. This one comes out March 26th. Now this one, I do know a little bit of the synopsis. I know this is a multi-timeline kind of a book because it shows regarding like two people who are pretty much reincarnated, falling in love in 3 different timelines, but the timelines mixing together, something like that. And I'm like, okay, so this one's also queer. It's fantasy and romance. It's a debut novel. I really like the cover. And it's short, too. It's actually less than 300 pages, so I'm like, that's even more incentive for me to read this now. And it's male romance. So, I shall read it. It looks so cool. So, yeah. That's all I really know about it. Okay, so we have also a lot of releases for April. We have about 9 here as well. So first up, we have Our Grim Auguria by Isabel Agajanian, the sequel to Modern Divination. This one comes out April 2nd. Now, I haven't actually read the first book yet. I did DNF it, unfortunately, but I do plan to get back into it. So if I do at least enjoy it enough, then I will read the sequel. I just put it on here just so that if anyone was interested in Modern Divination, the sequel to it comes out April 2nd. So, yeah, I can't really say much on the actual synopsis because I haven't even read the first book, but I do know that it's a new adult fantasy romance duology. It deals with witches. It's slow paced. It's a very slow burn romance. So, academic rivals to lovers. I don't know. It seems interesting to me, so I'm going to give it a try. Hopefully I like the first book so I can read the sequel. And I like the cover for it. Next up, we have The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. This one comes out April 9th. I'm very much tentative on this one because Leigh Bardugo has been a hit or miss author for me. I mean, I loved Six of Crows, but I did not like Ninth House. In fact, I did DNF it 2 years ago. But for this one, I'm also kind of hesitant towards it, but I'm also really curious to read it. Because I know a lot of people are going to read it too. So I'm like, I kind of want to get in the train with it before I hear other people's thoughts on it. All I know is that this is an adult historical fantasy taking place in the Spanish Golden Age. And I think Leigh Bardugo has gone on the record saying that this is inspired by her own family history. Let's give it a shot, I guess. I like the cover for it. It seems interesting. So, yeah, we'll see. But I'm definitely going to borrow it from my library. Next, we have Dragonfruit by Makia Lucier. I hope I pronounced that last name right. I don't know if it's Lucier or Lucier. I don't know if that's French or not. Anyways, this one comes out April 9th. This one is, I think it's young adult. Yeah, it's young adult fantasy. This is based on Pacific Islander mythology. It looks really interesting. It just sounds really interesting. Something I've never read before. I also know this author is the author of the Year of the Reaper, which I haven't read this one, that series, but this one does look very, very interesting. And it's also, I think, a romance in here too. I don't know. This one just seems more on my alley. And also, I really like the cover. I don't know. I just want to give it a shot. Let's just see if it really works out for me. Next, we have Dear Wendy by Anne Xiao. This one comes out April 16th. This one I know is a young adult queer contemporary because we're following two characters who are aromantic, asexual. They just coming of age on their identities, college, having grown in platonic friendship. I'm like here for that. I'm just here for it. I'm here for a friendship story. Next we have Smile and Be a Villain. This one comes out April 16th. This one does not have an official cover, but this is by Yves Donlin. This is going to be self-published, but all I know is this is a queer Hamlet retelling, which I think it follows more, I don't know if it follows more so on the Ophelia character more so or not. I think it does, probably, but it's like Hamlet retelling. What is there to say? And I think it's also the first in a series. I think it's the first in a duology. All I know is that I am very much interested in reading this one, and I cannot wait to read it. Next, we have Immortal Pleasures by V. Castro. This is also coming out on April 16th. This is very interesting. I saw the cover, which looks darkly seductive, because it is indeed a dark, seductive fantasy, following an Aztec vampire in modern times who are here for love but also vengeance. And it's the same author as The Haunting of Alejandra, which I did not read, but this is a fantasy horror, and I'm here for vampires, and I'm here for following like Mesoamerican characters. Next, we have Escape Velocity by Victor Manobo. So this one comes out April 23rd. This one is Victor Manobo's sophomore novel, so if you know the name, it was because I read The Sleepless in July, and I like that one. Now, this one takes place actually in space. I think we're following an astronaut or something. I don't know. The cover looks really cool, though. Don't get me wrong. I love the cover. And I think it might be queer. I don't know if it's queer, though. Question mark on the queer, because I really am blanking now. But I don't know. This just looks really cool, and ever since I read The Sleepless, I knew I was going to follow what this author's going to read next, so I'm going to read Escape Velocity, so there you go. Next we have One of You by Aaron E. Adams. Also comes out April 23rd. This is the author of Jackal, which I did not read, but this one seems interesting. This one follows two Haitian American sisters, and I don't know. I don't remember much about the synopsis, but it just looks interesting. I like the cover, and I'm here for following siblings. So that's all I gotta say. I just like following siblings. And lastly, for April, we have Heavenly Tyrant by Jiren J. Zhao. This one comes out April 30th. This is the sequel to Iron Widow, which is a young adult sci-fi novel that's like comped with Pacific Rim and The Handmaid's Tale. So there's a sequel to it. I love the cover. It has been delayed. This was a book that I was looking forward to this year, but it got delayed till next year. But that's okay. That's all right. I am just here and so excited to read the sequel, and I'm definitely going to need to do a reread of Iron Widow because I read that book in like late 2021, so my brain needs to reread. But yeah, that's pretty much all the titles for April, and now for May, we also have a lot as well, but that's okay. We have some pretty good, highly anticipated releases over there too, though. First up, we have The Brides of High Hill by Niveau. This one comes on May 7th, one of my most anticipated releases because this is the 5th installment in the Singing Hill cycle. And I've been loving this series, y'all. So I'm here for the 5th installment. As you can tell on the cover, we're going to be following the Foxes. We're going to follow the Cleric Chi again. And Almost Brilliant. I'm here to follow these characters again and again and again. And talk about storytelling and all that. I think we're going to be doing like a marriage or something. I'm just here for it though. Regardless, I do not care where the synopsis is. Now the next book. Supplication by Noor Abi Nakul. Now this one comes out also on May 7th, and this one also doesn't have a really long synopsis, which I actually do like because it helps me with my memory, but I do know this one's a very weird book. Even by the cover, I'm like, oh, it's giving literary fiction, but horror, like a dark lit fit book, and I'm like, that's what it is. It's a literary horror, and I think it's a debut, but I don't know, I don't remember much of the synopsis, but like, it just looks weird. It looks cool. I just want to read it. I'm so curious about it. And I hope I make y'all curious about it too. So, I don't know. It just looks cool. It looks weird. It looks like it's gonna be up my alley. Next, though, is a debut. Blood at the Root by Ladarion Williams. This one also comes out May 7th. This is a young adult fantasy book. I think this is gonna be first in a series. I don't know how long the series, but I really like the cover, and I don't really read a lot of young adult books. featuring like black boys on the cover or as main characters. So honestly, I'm just here for it. I'm just gonna give it a shot. I do know it gives, it's like ancestral magic here. I'm here for ancestral magic. I'm here for just black boys and fantasy. So I don't know. I don't know. I just really like the cover, and it sounded interesting with the little that I remember in the genre tags. So I'm giving it a shot. Next, we have A Crane Among Wolves by June Her. This one comes out May 14th. This is June Her's next book, and this one this is like enemies to lovers. Takes place in the Joseon dynasty. This is Korean historical fiction, young adult. I don't know, something about a young lady who has to work together with a prince, and they're enemies, but then turn to lovers, something like that. I don't know. I really like the cover. I'll read June Her, whatever else June Her writes, because I loved The Red Palace, so I don't care. I'm just gonna read it. Next, we have Goddess of the River by Vaishnavi Patel. This one comes out on May 21st. This is gonna be her sophomore novel, because Kaike was the debut novel. This one we're following Ganga, who's the goddess of the river, and like her son. So another retelling, reimagining, feminist reimagining of a character in mythology. So yeah, I'm here to give this author another try. I did DNF Kaike, but I did at least like the writing, and I'm still curious on these books. I mean, look at the cover. The cover looks really pretty. I'm just here to give it a shot. So I don't know. And also, if anyone is a fan of Kaike, I mean, there's the sophomore novel, so here you go. Next, we have Coexistence, which is a short story collection by Billy Ray Balcourt. Also comes out May 21st. This is this author I've been loving so far. Just about everything I've read by him. I read A Minor Chorus. I read This One Is a World, and now we have a short story collection. I don't know. I don't know what the short story collection is gonna be about or featuring or whatever. I don't care. I'm just gonna read it. It just looks really cool, and I'm so glad we finally have an official cover for it, because I like it. I love Billy Ray Balcourt's writing, so I got nothing to worry about. Next, Lost Ark Dreaming by Suyi Davis Okongboa. This one comes out May 21st. This one is a sci-fi novella. If this author's name seems familiar to you, it's because I think they are the author of Son of the Storm series. So yeah, I've never actually read that series, but I am very much interested to try out this novella. Actually, I was approved of the e-arc for it, so I'm very much looking forward to reading this one and giving it a try. And another book that's coming out in May, which is also a highly anticipated release for me, is Evocation by St. Gibson. Comes out May 28th. This one, I'm so excited for this one. I actually did a cover reveal for it on my Instagram, so y'all can check that out here. But like, look at the cover. Look at this cover. It looks so gorgeous. If you're into tarot cards, then this, I don't know, is it just me? But like, this reminds me of like the Hanged Man from the Major Arcana. Okay, you can't tell me. But this one is a queer urban fantasy romance. This first book in like Quartet, the Summoner Circle series. We're following 3 characters. I think it's also a polyamorous thing. I think it's like a V though, because the main character David, who's a real estate agent, has to work with his ex-boyfriend named Reese, and then we also have to work with Reese's ex-wife Moira as well. So yeah, I'm here for that. I'm here for a queer fantasy romance from St. Gibson. I'm just here for it, okay? And I will have an arc, a physical arc of this book soon. Y'all expect me to have some thoughts on this book, because oh gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Woo. So excited. I can't wait to read this book. Let's go. Now, the next few titles we have here, so these next 4 are going to be like summer 2024 releases. So yeah, we have like June, July, August. So let's just get on with it. So we have The Unrelenting Earth by Kritika H. Rao. This is the sequel to The Surviving Sky, the second book in the Rages trilogy. This one comes out June 18th. This is an adult sci-fi fantasy series following 2 characters, Iravan and Ahilia, who are in tumultuous marriage. And yeah, this is just pretty much after the events of The Surviving Sky, and I'm very much looking forward to it. We don't have an official cover for it yet, but I really am looking forward to it, and I expect it to be very, very pretty indeed. But yeah, I don't know too much on the actual synopsis itself, but honestly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm just here for a continuation of the story. Next, we have Rakes Fall, And I don't know how to pronounce this author's name, so I don't want to attempt it and I tremendously butcher it. But this does come out June 18th as well. This one's actually a sci-fi book, which is very interesting. And I think this is about twin souls, or two like-minded souls or something like that, who are maybe in love. I don't really quite know. But the cover was cool, but also surprising to find out that it was sci-fi. It might be sci-fi fantasy, though. But according to Storygraph, it shows a sci-fi, but I think it might be sci-fi fantasy. I don't know. This is the same author as The Saint of Bright Doors. So, I never read that book, but Rake's Fall just looks really interesting, and the synopsis kind of got me. I don't know. It just seemed interesting to me. Next, we have Masquerade by Oo Sangoyomi. This one comes out July 2nd. Now, this is pretty much loosely based on the myth of Persephone, but it does take place in Yoruba land. Not really Nigeria, because it's pre-colonial West Africa, so Yoruba land, which does take up like some part of Nigeria, but also other West African countries. And I love the cover. Oh my gosh, this cover looks so gorgeous. Oh my gosh, I'm always here to give, like, anytime I see a Nigerian author with a really nice cover and it's a really cool fantasy, adult fantasy, I'm just like, I get so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks so cool. And it's pretty much giving like Persephone, Hades Persephone, but mostly on Persephone. And I'm just like, look, I'm not here with all Greek myth stuff. I don't care enough about Hades Persephone. But I'm giving this book a chance because, first of all, beautiful cover. Second, written by a Nigerian author. Third, it's speculative fiction. That's all I got to say. Y'all look up the synopses on what these books are about. But all I can say is that I'm reading it because of these three things. All right. Next, we have Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid, which comes out August 13th. This one, I don't know if this is young adult or adult. Actually, no, it is adult. I remember. It's adult, it's historical, and I think it's going to be a retelling of Macbeth, but in Lady Macbeth's perspective. And I definitely do want to do a reread of Macbeth before I read this, because even though Macbeth is my favorite Shakespearean play since high school, I do want to do a reread. I'm here for Macbeth retellings because there's not enough out there for me. I am starving of Macbeth retellings. I'm getting a little bit more Hamlet ones, but we need more Macbeth people. Now, these last two books, these ones have, like, not really known dates. One more known than the other, but they have unofficial dates right now. So, first up, we have A Song to Drown Rivers by Anne Leong. This one comes out fall 2024. I do know this was also historical fiction, and I think it's adult as well, but I don't really know the synopsis. I don't even think the full synopsis is even available for this book. There's not even an official cover for it either. And neither was for Lady Macbeth as well. But for A Song to Drown Rivers, I have no idea on the synopsis even at all. There's very little actual information. But I do know it comes out the next fall, so I don't know. I loved If You Could See the Sun by this author. So I'm gonna read this one too. This one just seems really, really cool. And then the last book to talk about. This is a book that I've been looking forward to for a long minute now, has been delayed, and we still don't have an official cover, release date, or synopsis. And y'all know what I'm talking about. We're talking about Elect of the Ninth by Thames Muir. We all know that this book was going to be on the list. I just put it at the end because I didn't want to be so obvious to put it up front. So, yeah. But yeah, we have no date, no synopsis, no cover, but I'm still looking for it, and I'm still optimistic that it will be coming out next year. But I do believe that Thames and Muir probably have some health thing, probably some personal things going on, so that's probably why it's taking a longer time for the book to come out with at least a release date or something. But I don't know. I'm here to wait. I mean, I have no choice anyways. I'm gonna wait, and while I wait, I'll probably reread the 3 books. So yeah, all I know is that we definitely are going to get Elect of the Ninth for sure, and I'm just looking forward to seeing the cover for it. I'm looking forward to seeing the release date and the synopsis. When that happens, trust me, y'all are going to find out. Best believe. I'll let y'all know if I find any more information, because I'm just waiting. We're all waiting. That's pretty much it. That was all 40 anticipated releases for 2024. Now, if any of y'all found some new titles that you aren't interested in, let me know what those are. Is there any other releases that y'all think are interested in seeing for next year? Let me know as well, because maybe I can add that to my list. I already had 40. I can add more. Let me know as well if any of these books piqued your interest, if you're excited to even try these books out, even especially with the covers, you know. Anything that y'all are curious about? Any Any of y'all who also have the same most anticipated releases as well, let me know in the comments down below. But anyways, if you like it, comment down your thoughts on these books, subscribe if you want to. If you made it this far into the video but you're not totally sure what to say, but you just want to leave me an emoji, leave me some sort of party emoji, whether it's a party hat, the emoji with the celebration, or the party favor, whatever one. And again, thank you all for coming on to this video, and I hope to see you all in my next one. Bye.